For Arsenal fans, also an update, Arsenal are working on a new deal for Jurrien Timber. The Dutch defender, who can play as a right back, as a centre back, can play in several systems, and is seen as a perfect solution by Mikel Arteta. The club is very happy, and they want to give him a better salary. So after Saliba, Arsenal are working on a new contract for Bukayo Saka, but also for Jurrien Timber. There is a conversation ongoing. They want to improve his salary. They want to reach an agreement as soon as possible. They are very happy with Timber, top professional, not just a top player. Arteta loves Timber in terms of skills, in terms of quality, and so there is a very good chance to see Jurrien Timber extending his contract at Arsenal very soon as one of the important pieces of the group.
Andrea Berta just shocked Arsenal fans with this move. Since taking over from Edu Gaspar, Andrea Berta has been quietly shaking things up at Arsenal, and fans are starting to feel the impact. It all started with William Saliba signing a new deal, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Jurrien Timber and Bukayo Saka could be next. These moves aren't just contract renewals, they're game changers for the club. David Raya's big reward. According to BBC's Sammy Mockbull, Berta handed Raya a salary boost this summer, not an extension, just a pay rise, but one that pushes him past £100,000 a week. Why? Because Raya has become absolutely vital to Arsenal's Premier League dreams, and Berta is making sure the club's top players feel valued and motivated. Berta's bold strategy. Here's where it gets interesting. Raya's contract length hasn't changed, so it's not your typical deal, but this is a tactic Berta loves. Reward players without extending contracts, keeping them happy and focused. Leandro Trossard got the same treatment earlier this summer, and with stars like Raya, Timber, and Saka in the mix, Arsenal fans can expect more moves like this. One thing is clear, under Andrea Berta, Arsenal isn't just signing players, they're building loyalty, power, and ambition behind the scenes. Andrea Berta eyes new deals for Rice and Odegaard after Raya. After rewarding David Raya with a fresh deal, Arsenal's sporting director Andrea Berta is already looking at the next players to secure, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard, according to Arsenal Insider. Berta isn't just focused on the summer spending spree, which exceeded £250 million. He's also making sure Arsenal's core players stay long-term in North London. Gabriel Magalhaes, Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis-Skelly, and William Saliba have all recently committed their futures, with Saliba now set to remain at the club until 2030. Transfer expert Graham Bailey told Arsenal Insider that while Raya and Timber's deals were about rewarding their contributions, the focus for Odegaard and Rice will be more on extending their contract lengths than boosting wages. Odegaard and Rice could be next up for new contracts, but with them it's more about the length of contract rather than increasing their wages. Bailey explained, Raya's improvement has been massive. He's now one of the Premier League's best, and Timber is following a similar path. Neither were top earners, but the club is recognizing their value and progress. Berta proving his worth. While the long-term impact of Andrea Berta's work is still unfolding, his start has been hugely impressive. Not only has he overseen a record-breaking transfer window that strengthened Arteta's squad, but he's also convinced key players to commit their futures to Arsenal. Outshining his predecessor Edu, Berta's smart, efficient approach is a major boost for the club, and a clear sign that Arsenal are moving in the right direction. What Arsenal are really saying behind the scenes about Odegaard's injury. Martin Odegaard just can't catch a break right now. The Arsenal captain's start to the 2025/26 season has been brutally unlucky. He made Premier League history for all the wrong reasons, and becoming the first player ever to be subbed off before halftime in 3 straight league matches. First it was his shoulder, then another shoulder, and now a painful knock to his knee against West Ham that had every Arsenal fan holding their breath. The club later confirmed the worst, damage to his medial collateral ligament, ruling him out of international duty. The good news, it's not as bad as feared. At first, fans feared the worst. Some reports even suggested it could be a long-term absence. But now, there's a twist. According to TalkSport's Sam Matterface, Arsenal insiders believe Odegaard's injury isn't as bad as first feared. Behind closed doors, there's cautious optimism that it's not a grade 3 ligament tear, meaning the captain could be back sooner than expected. For context, a minor MCL injury can heal in just 1 to 3 weeks. A more moderate one can take up to 6, so the hope around the club is clear. Odegaard's recovery might be quicker than anyone thought. Arsenal taking no risks. Still, Arsenal won't rush him. The last thing Arteta wants is a setback. Odegaard's already missed too many minutes this season, and that's been a blow considering the level he was playing at before these knocks. Looking ahead, the Gunners face a brutal stretch of 4 matches in just 11 days after the international break. Fulham, Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, Crystal Palace, and a Carabao Cup clash. The thought of facing those games without their captain is worrying, but there's growing belief inside London Colney that Odegaard's absence won't drag on for too long. One thing's for sure, Arsenal are being smart, careful, and united behind their captain's recovery. Arsenal summer signing reveals which club he wants after leaving the Gunners. One of Arsenal's summer signings is already thinking ahead, and he hasn't been shy about sharing his plans. Andrea Berta's first transfer window as Arsenal's sporting director brought 8 new faces to the Emirates. The squad is stronger, balanced, and ready for the challenges ahead under Mikel Arteta. But while most of the new arrivals are settling in, one player is already planning his next move. Christian Norgaard opens up about his future. Christian Norgaard, often overlooked amid the arrivals of Eberechi Eze and Victor Gyokeres, has made a big impression at Arsenal. A key figure in Thomas Frank's Brentford project, Norgaard brought leadership and experience even before signing. Speaking to Danish media outlet Bold during international duty, Norgaard confirmed where his heart lies after Arsenal. "I can guarantee that Arsenal will be my last club abroad," he said. "I still want to return to Brøndby when my contract at Arsenal expires." Currently, Norgaard's focus is on Arsenal. "My contract is 2 years with an option for a further year, and I would be happy to stay at Arsenal for the extra year if things develop in that direction," he added. "If it turns out that it wasn't the right match, we'll go home to Denmark after 2 years. At 31, Norgaard has his next steps clearly planned and isn't afraid to speak openly about his transfer intentions. A smart summer signing by Andrea Berta, many have called Norgaard the most underrated signing of the summer, a testament to Berta securing him for just £15 million. Arsenal's midfield needed reinforcement after the departures and the void left by Jorginho, and Norgaard's Premier League experience and leadership qualities have been vital for the dressing room. It was a clever, essential signing, and now the Dane is ready to make the most of his opportunity at Arsenal, while keeping Brøndby in his sights for the future. Gary Lineker thinks Victor Gyokeres will start to score more goals for Arsenal. Heading into the international break, Victor Gyokeres has now reached 10 games for Arsenal. In those 10 matches, the Swede has scored 3 goals for Arsenal, all of which have come in the Premier League. On the face of it, that's a huge downgrade on Victor Gyokeres' ratio over the past few seasons for both Sporting CP and Coventry City. But following his efforts against West Ham United last weekend, Mikel Arteta was fast to praise Gyokeres and all that he's now doing for the team. The Swede's strength and hold-up play has been vital at times, and the former Sporting striker is constantly stretching opposition back lines, something that was lacking at Arsenal last season. That being said, Gary Lineker has now discussed Gyokeres' early start at Arsenal on the Rest is Football podcast. Lineker was convinced that Gyokeres has been a very positive addition for Arteta, even if he's not quite matched his previous goal records just yet. But even so, the pundit was convinced that Arsenal's new striker would soon begin to find the back of the net more regularly. Lineker said, "I also think that even though he's not banged loads of goals in yet, but he's got his fair share, Gyokeres, I think he gives them something different. He gives them a threat behind, which creates more space for the midfield and even the wide players, and he's aggressive with his running, and he likes to spin, and he attacks the space in the box. The goals will come for him because with the service that I think he'll inevitably get, particularly now, Sakar is back in the mix and looks like his old self after his injury. So I think it's quite promising for Arsenal. I think we might be in this season for a really good title race." And that wraps up today's biggest Arsenal news. If you enjoyed the update and want to stay on top of everything happening with the Gunners, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Come on, Arsenal!